Hi. Does it seem like car interiors are getting worse? I thought it was just my imagination, but I don't think that it is. Hi, I'm Larry Printz. It's time we talk cars. It's time we talk about car interiors. Now, in particular, you know, it once seemed like when you got a new car, you were graduating from something cheaper, flimsier, and slightly ashamed of itself. The door shut with authority instead of a soda can sigh. Knobs had resistance. Switches clicked with intent, like they meant it. Fast forward to today, where the average car interior looks like it was designed by a committee, one that split the difference between a smartphone, a hotel lobby, and a mood board. The result is technically impressive, but emotionally indifferent and ergonomically suspicious. Now, it's not your imagination if you've gotten into a new car and you can't find the knobs, because the reality is, well, you can't find the knobs. And, you know, there's a reason for that. In the great name of clean design, automakers have achieved the astonishing feat of removing the one thing drivers could reliably operate without reading a manual: physical controls. Climate settings, seat heaters, mirror adjustments, drive modes, everything now lives somewhere inside a glass rectangle that demands the same attention as a tax return, only while you're merging into traffic. Manufacturers will tell you that this is progress. And yes, fewer lifeboats make the ship look more spacious. A knob can be found by touch. A screen requires visual negotiation. In a moving car, that distinction used to matter. And it still does, just not in the meeting rooms where these decisions are made. To put this in perspective, consider you're trying to adjust something on the screen. It takes about 5 seconds and you're driving at 60 miles an hour. Your car travels 440 feet, or more than a football field. But here's the thing: if you're looking for a knob to do the job, don't bother because it's not there. Okay. The knobs have gone, vamoose. And, older interiors were built on repetition. You adjusted the temperature once or twice, and then your hand just knew. No thought required. It became instinct, like finding the light switch in the kitchen in the middle of the night. Modern interiors treat that kind of familiarity as a design flaw. Menu shift. Software updates rearrange the furniture. Slider switches replace real switches for reasons that are never explained. Even basic functions now require light administrative work. It's all done in the name of minimalism. And, designers love the word minimalism. It sounds calm, mature, Scandinavian. Now, a kitchen is minimal when it's efficient. A moving vehicle doing 70 miles an hour in a world full of distracted drivers is not a meditation studio. It's a task environment where clarity used to be considered a virtue. Now, then there's the problem with materials. And, every car these days, you get into it and it's a sea of black plastic. And, there's a problem with this because, interiors now resemble optimizations of spreadsheets in grayscale. Glossy black plastic dominates, presumably because it looks expensive for approximately 12 minutes after you leave the showroom. Then it becomes a fingerprint museum. Soft touch materials appear in brochures more often than they appear on the car. This is one of those running changes they refer to in small print at the bottom of the brochure. Of course, the worst part is the screen has won. Modern cars are more capable. They can brake for you, steer for you, and notice things that you haven't noticed yet. The problem is not capability, it's accumulation. Driver assistance systems live next to infotainment systems, which live next to connectivity systems, which live next to vehicle systems settings, all politely ignoring one another like strangers in an elevator. The result is not one intelligent system, it's several semi intelligent systems competing for your attention like interns who haven't been told who's in charge. You know, and that's resulted in the driver becoming merely a screen user. It's the biggest philosophical shift. The driver is no longer the center of the interior experience. I mean, just check out a new BMW. The driver oriented interior that you knew of 20 years ago is gone. Now the driver is just a participant, a user among users. Passengers have screens. The car has a personality. The software has opinions. The ecosystem has ambitions. And the driver? The driver gets to manage all of it while also not hitting anyone. To be fair, modern interiors are safer, more connected, and vastly more capable than their ancestors. Cameras see things you can't. Sensors anticipate mistakes. Navigation is no longer a folded paper exercise in humiliation. But progress has a habit of confusing more with better. A car can be objectively superior in every engineering metric and still feel like it requires a brief orientation session every time you want to adjust the air conditioning. You know, and that's the problem, isn't it? You know, we just want to be able to get in and use the car quickly, efficiently, and easily. Now, some manufacturers are quietly bringing back physical controls for critical functions. Others are simplifying menus after discovering that consumers do not, in fact, enjoy becoming part time software testers just to turn down the fan speed. It turns out the radical idea may be this: drivers don't want fewer choices. They want fewer obstacles between intention and action. Because at 70 miles an hour, the ideal interface is not elegant, it's immediate. And if the industry is rediscovering anything, it's that sometimes the highest form of innovation is giving people back what worked before it was improved. I'm Larry Printz, Associate Editor at WeTalkCars.com, and that's my opinion. Drop me a line. Tell me what you think. Am I right? Or am I just blowing smoke? Or both? Let me know. Talk to you soon and happy motoring.